I brought this banana just to do this. This is the budget I'm working with. Don't laugh, Liz. Don't laugh. I mean, you're probably sick of me already, aren't you? At this point now, this is just like, what's the point? But I promised you that I would upload more regularly, and I am. So this video here, and yes, I've got my headphones in, but that's because I'm outside. Okay, let's be honest. I'm outside. I'm at a park. I am currently, you know, like 36 minutes into my walk. I went for a walk today because it's overcast, which means it's not super hot. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if I just went for a walk? I'm going to take my GoPro with me and I'm going to record something if I find an area where I can record. And it's going to be as socially awkward as anything, because this is really different from, you know, recording when you're at Disneyland, which selfless plug, but you can see those vlogs on this channel, so you know they're uploading. But no, I thought the reason I wanted to come to a park is because I'm outdoors and I wanted to keep the exercise theme going for myself. And yes, I have watched From Russia with Love, and yes, I did exercise throughout the whole thing, whether it be from like on the treadmill, and then when I got off the treadmill I would pick up the dumbbells that I had and I would start doing some of that. So I was constantly working out, and if I put the dumbbells down, then I was doing crutches. Squats. Why did I say crutches? Squats. So I was doing like a multitude of things. I was on the exercise bike. That was like 95% of the time. 4% of the time I was like doing the dumbbells, and then 1% was just doing squats. But it was really good. Like, I had a really good time again, and it just feels different watching the James Bond movies again while you're working out, because it gives you like a motivation. So you're motivated to watch the film, but you're also motivated to work out. And then you start looking at the time and you're thinking, oh my god, I got 10 minutes to go, I got 10 minutes to go, my legs are jelly, but I'm going to keep on going. And that was what I was doing. So it was really good. And it was, yeah, so it was really good. I really enjoyed myself and I had a really good time doing it. And and From Russia with Love, again, was a fantastic film. And it has beaten Dr. No for me as number one, because Dr. No was really good. Dr. No was a phenomenal movie. I love Dr. No. But if I'm ranking the movies, Dr. No would be number one. Now that I've watched From Russia with Love, Dr. No becomes number two, From Russia with Love becomes number one. And that's easier to say. I mean, by the time I get to Goldfinger, that list will change again, and then Thunderball, you know, what are the other movies? Oh my god, I can't believe I've completely blown my mind. I know the movies. You Only Live Twice, and then you've got On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then you've got Diamonds Are Forever, and then that kind of concludes Sean Connery's era and George Lazenby. But I just love this movie. It is so good. It is so different to what Dr. No was. Dr. No was very centralised in one location, which was, I mean, you spent like 10 minutes of the movie was in London, and then the rest of the movie was in Jamaica. And that's fine. That was what the movie was. It was a small scale movie dealing with, you know, the villain Dr. No. Really good. You go to his island in Crab Key, which is still considered in part of Jamaica, and that's fine. No issues there. This movie here, and I've got a list on my phone here. This movie here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different locations. Now, you've got the usual, the movie begins in, these birds are crazy. I'm going to continue anyway, it doesn't matter. You start the movie in London, no issues there. Then you go to Istanbul. Then you go to Belgrade, which is in Serbia, I just found out. But you're only there for like, that's like a train sequence in the movie. You stop there for a little bit. Then you go to Zagreb, which is in Croatia. And then the movie ends in Venice, which is another small sequence. So most of it takes place in Istanbul, and then there's like a 40-minute sequence on the train, which I'll get to that a little bit later on. So there's so many different locations. The sets in this movie are top notch. Like, there is, okay, so let me give you a little basic thing of this movie. It is James Bond he's got a mission from M, which is MI6, which is his boss, M. So M gives Bond the mission: you need to go to Istanbul, meet up with this Russian, well, I guess she would kind of be considered a double agent, because she's a Russian agent, but now she's working, well, she's not a Russian agent, she works for the Russian embassy, but now she's going to be working with Bond and do whatever he asks her to do, which is a point in the film. So she's going to work with Bond. Bond has to steal a Lecter decoding device, which is, as explained in the movie, kind of like the size of a typewriter, about 10 kilos. And they're going to use this device in there for whatever they need it for. That's the Cold War. That's the era that we're in. Remember, this is 1963. So anyway, Bond travels to Istanbul, meets up with his one of his best sidekicks in the entire franchise, Ali Karim Bey, who is, I love this guy, he's so good. So Bond meets up with him, and then later meets up with Tatiana Romanova, who is the Russian agent that he's going to be meeting with. All the while in the background, you've got Blofeld. Who is he named in this movie? I'm not sure if he's even named Blofeld. I think he's just called Number One in this film. Anyway, Blofeld with his cat. So Blofeld is pulling the strings and getting Spectre, because that's who they work. That's who Blofeld is working. That's his company, is Spectre. So Blofeld is going to be using Bond to steal the Lecter from the Russians. Follow along. So Blofeld, Spectre, is using a British agent to steal a Lecter decoding device from the Russians, and he will then have Bond steal it, then send one of his agents to go kill Bond, steal the decoder, and bring it back to Spectre, whilst Spectre is still in good favour with the Russians, because the Russians don't know the Spectre's involved in this at all. So you've got this assassin who Spectre is using, called Donald Grant, who is this tall, muscular, blonde-haired assassin, and he is just, throughout this whole film, he is just planting. He's actually one of the first characters you see in the film. He's one of the, he's unbelievable. He's great. I mean, he's a henchman, but he's also kind of like the main bad guy in this movie. But he's hired by one of the Spectre agents called Rosa Klebb, who has the best death sequence. Spoiler. But Grant is hired by Rosa Klebb, and throughout the film, he's doing every single thing possible to assist Bond from the shadows to make sure that Bond steals this Lecter device. And he's peppered in all these little scenes throughout the movie, and you just see him stalking Bond from like a distance, from the shadows, from behind stuff. He's everywhere, and it is so well done. You're like, when I was watching it this time, I was constantly looking, and there's a part in the movie where Tatiana, she first meets Rosa Klebb, and he's given her mission to assist Bond no matter what. And pretty much Rosa Klebb tells her, if you don't do this, you're dead. Like, you are not leaving this room, so you have to work for us. So anyway, even at that moment when Tatiana is going into the room to meet Rosa Klebb, Donald Grant is walking up the stairs, and you just see him kind of like in the foreground of the shot, and he just hides behind a pillar. Tatiana never sees him. Until this viewing, I hadn't even noticed him. Don't ask me what I did. Maybe I blinked for a moment, but I never noticed him before in that little beginning part. And it's fantastic. And the whole movie is like that. Even to the point where if you just watch the movie, you're like, huh? But when you watch it on repeated viewing, you actually see how smart and intelligent Donald Grant is, and how he's manipulating the whole event of the movie to make sure that Bond steals that decoder, the Lecter decoder, and then takes that, and then he chases, and then they have like a moment on the Orient Express, which is like a 40-minute sequence of the movie, but they have a moment on there where they finally come to face, and he actually convinces Bond that he's, first of all, a British agent, and that he's trying to help Bond, and you just go to see how gullible Bond is, and it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And don't get me wrong, Connery in this movie is the best I reckon he will ever be throughout the throughout his run as Bond. But when you see Donald Grant and the way he manipulates Bond and manipulates the events of the movie, he's fantastic. Like, he's utterly brilliant. Like, it is great. It is so good. Another thing that they changed from the first movie was, as I mentioned in my previous review of Dr. No, they had Monty Norman, who created the James Bond theme that's in the entire franchise. He did the musical score for Dr. No. In this film, they've changed that up. They're still using the same theme from Monty Norman. I think they say it's been arranged, quote unquote, by John Barry, which is fine. I don't mind. I like when other composers actually take the score. David Arnold does a fantastic James Bond theme. It just works great regardless of who does it. The James Bond theme is timeless. To me, it is the best piece of music ever. And I'm a Star Wars fan too. But John Barry came in and did the musical score for this film, and it is... words can't describe it. It's fantastic. It is the best. I loved it, to the point where the... sorry, this is going to sound really nerdy. When my wife and I got married in October of 2019... we met with the DJ, and he was asking us, oh, when you walk into the reception, what type of music do you want to have like playing for you? People have choices. What type of music do you want? And I said to my wife, I want a James Bond theme. And she thought it was the James Bond theme. And I'm like, no. It is a James Bond title, like one of the theme songs. But it doesn't have any vocals, no nothing like that. It's just the orchestral version of it, and it was From Russia with Love. And I don't know what Liz, my wife, was thinking, but to her credit, yes, she said yes, and we walked in, and it felt, or well, not we walked in, it was other people walked in with that music, and it was just phenomenal. And I'm so upset that nobody recorded it, and nobody sent it to me, because I was hearing it from just outside the room, so I couldn't see people walking in. But just with the music playing, it was yeah, it was fantastic. And that goes to the credit of John Barry, who created such a magical musical score for this film. It's top notch. It is. John Barry scores the soundtracks from this film all the way up to The Living Daylights, which is 1987, and then there's a couple of films in between there done by Bill Conti. There's two other composers, I cannot remember their names, but there's two other composers that come in also and do like two different musical scores that he's not involved in. And they're good, they're really good, but there is something about John Barry's music that just completely cuts above everybody else. Fantastic. And no one to this day can do better in the James Bond musical department than what John Barry did. I don't care. David Arnold is fantastic. No one beats him. I'm trying to think of the others. I know the others. I'm on the spot. I'm getting all nervous. But yeah, this movie is just fantastic. And in the first movie, you had the Bond girl, as they call them, which was Honey Rider, played by Ursula Andress, and she was good. I don't mind her as a character. I know her moment of walking out from the ocean is considered to be iconic. I get that, I understand that, and it certainly is. But Tatiana Romanova is so much better. For me, she's so much more attractive. Yes, she's annoying. I mean, she's pretty much only there to be the Bond girl. And there's a sequence in the movie where she just keeps on telling Bond that she loves him. And that is like, I might insert a clip if I have it.
I know I love you, James. I love you.
Just tell me.
I love you, it's true.
And it just, every time I see it, I always just laugh, and Bond's reaction to that is great.
Sure.
But yeah, this movie here is something special. It's hard to say, because I do have another favourite Sean Connery movie, but I think it's because of nostalgia for me. I will get to that in a couple of more reviews, but From Russia with Love is easily, for me, and I know it's debated by many others, but for me it is easily the best Sean Connery James Bond film, hands down. But again, the next film I'm reviewing is Goldfinger, and many people claim that that is his best. I think this is his best, and I think that Goldfinger does a lot for the franchise that sets it up going forward. And it's important to know that whilst Dr. No introduced M, the character M, and Moneypenny, and Bond, and Felix Leiter, and so many important elements in the franchise, this film here was the first one that did, you know, the scantily clad or near naked women in the title sequence. This one also introduced Desmond Llewellyn as Q, who in the first movie was known as the Quartermaster. In this one here, he's actually Q, and it's Desmond Llewellyn playing the role. So it introduces Bond getting the gadgets, which in this film here is like a briefcase which has got, you know, exploding bomb inside, you know, powderish bomb inside. It's got 50 gold sovereigns in the actual band of the actual thing. It's got he gives him a sniper rifle. He's got a folding sniper rifle, I should say, like a breakdown sniper rifle, and he's even got like a dagger. And he uses that in the sequence on the train, which I still haven't mentioned. So let me get to that moment. The train sequence in this movie on the Orient Express is my favourite bit of the movie. It is, so Bond and Tatiana steal the Lecter decoder. They escape on the train, the Orient Express. They escape on that with Karen Bay, and it's pretty much they have to use the train to get to their next destination, to then get to another destination, to then get back to London with the device. And that's fine. Easy, simple as it is. But Donald Grant gets on the train. And now that Bond has the decoder, you are just waiting for this to happen now. You know that Grant is going to go in for the kill, and he's kind of like, it's weird, he's almost like, if you've ever seen the movie Halloween by John Carpenter, and you've got the Shape, which is Michael Myers, you've got the Shape, that's his character, and the Shape just stalks characters from the background. That's what Grant's like in this film, until this moment of the movie, and now he starts to make his play, and you see him take out allies to Bond, enemies of Bond, more allies of Bond, and then you get the introduction between him and Bond, and then you see very obviously how he poisons Tatiana, and then Bond figures that out, and then he convinces Bond again, and then it's the fight, and then it is just, you're sitting on, like, there's this ball of tension. It's so unnerving, and it's so well done. I love it. I love this movie. It ends with a bang. I don't know what else to say. I'm so happy that I've decided to watch the movies again and review them. I remember years ago I watched the movies and reviewed them because I had a website back in the day, and this feels very much like that, but it's more enjoyable. I'm really enjoying this. I'm loving to bring it to everybody that's watching. Hopefully others are starting to watch it too. Like I said, the next film I am watching is Goldfinger, which is 1964, which is amazing because you had Dr. No in 1962, From Russia with Love in 1963, then the very next year you had 1964, which was Goldfinger, and then 1965, which was a year later again, you had Thunderball. So they were shot back to back to back to back. And the fact that this was only 1 year after Dr. No, you cannot tell. I know there was a couple behind the scenes issues with From Russia with Love, but when you watch it on the big on the screen, they're not known at all. Like, you cannot tell. And I look forward to watching Goldfinger for next time. But I thought what I should say now is, and I have to bring it up again on my phone, is the kill count. Because this is, remember that when we got to Dr. No, Bond killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. He killed 5 people. This film here, in one sequence, which is at a gypsy camp, Bond kills 4 henchmen. Then he kills Donald Grant on the train, and then later on he kills 13 Spectre agents in this like ball of fire on this massive body of water. So in total we're looking at, what's that, 13 plus 4 is 17, plus Donald Grant, we're looking at 18 kills. Bond got 18 kills. He visited 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations. I've mentioned that before. He managed to bed 4 women. Sylvia Trench, who returns from Dr. No, but only for a small sequence. 2 gypsy women, 2, and Tatiana Romanova. A bit of a player there, Bond. Bit of a player. Now, as for my calories burnt, I watched this movie in 2 different viewings. So I watched the first part, and then I had some lunch, and then I went back to the movie for the final, I think it was 83 minutes. So the first time again, I'm looking at my phone, sorry, but the first time I sat down on the treadmill, on the exercise bike, sorry, and started was 34 minutes and 6 seconds. That burned a total of 261 calories. All the figures will be up on the screen. The second time I jumped on the treadmill, it was 83 minutes and 8 seconds, and that was 793 calories. Now, you can see all my calories will pop up on the screen for the active calories and total calories and everything like that, which I am so happy with how I did on this one. And then you'll see my elapsed time also up on the screen and everything like that, which brought me to a total of 1 hour, 57 minutes, 14 seconds. So I think I did pretty well, and I really had such a good time watching From Russia with Love. It probably helped too that when I was watching, I mean, I was dying, I was sweating like a mule. I wanted to give up, but I'm like, no, continue going. But the weather was a bit warm too, so now the weather's a bit cooler. That's why I've decided to come outside and go for a bit of a walk, and it's good. I've got another, by the time I turn and head back, probably another 40 minutes to this walk, and then yeah, then I can start editing this, and then eventually I'll start watching Goldfinger. So that's my next film. Now, again, I want everyone to let me know in the comments how you're going. I hope you're all doing well. This wind is really picking up. I'm hoping the microphone is not getting all windy and stuff like that. But yeah, I also want to thank everyone that's subscribed, because that really does mean a lot. And I'm not trying to make these overly serious, as you can tell. I watch the movies, I exercise, and I want to talk to somebody about it, and I've decided that YouTube's a great place to do that. So again, let me know how you're going. I hope you're all doing well, but let me know in the comments. Happy to have a conversation in the comments down below with anybody. Let me know if you've seen this film and your thoughts on it. Let me know your ranking of Bond films, because I'm going to be ranking mine, and I'll have a video at the end ranking all of my in a list. And I'm also doing something else where I'm doing a bit of a spreadsheet. But I'll explain that later on. But there is a spreadsheet where I'm calculating all my figures on that, plus my starting weight and hopefully my ending weight by the time I get to No Time to Die. Or at that point, maybe Bond 26 will be out. Who knows? There's major issues with that. But either way, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in, for watching. If you have and you do like it, you want to give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down. If you didn't like it, that's fine. Just appreciate you watching the video. It does mean a lot to me. So thank you very much. I hope you're all doing well. Leave a comment down below, and I will talk to you in the comments and in the Goldfinger review. So thanks very much. I'm like Blofeld. You're not meant to laugh.
You can't even see.
We're gonna come closer now. Hi guys.